Hi, welcome to the Rapid Profit Booster Summit. I'm Stacey Hylen, your host for the summit. I am a business coach, author, speaker, and I help business owners add an extra zero to their business without the hustle. And that's what this summit is all about, of how you can add profits to your business quickly and easily. We're not talking about strategies that take 6 months or a year to implement. These are things that are quick that you can do this week, this month, and increase your sales quickly. We're going to be focusing on 3 key areas that you need. First of all, the mindset. As a former Tony Robbins coach and vice president of consulting, I know how important that mindset is to help you get your business growing and to make that switch to say, you know what, I can grow my profits now, no matter what the economy is doing. Then we're going to be delving into marketing and what you can be doing to separate yourself from the competition and get leads right now. And then the third area is sales. How, once you get that lead in the door, what can you do to convert more leads to clients? So we have business owners that I'm interviewing that have multi-million-dollar businesses, and they are going to be sharing their best strategies with you. So listen in. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point. Take notes, and more importantly, take action. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Profit Booster Summit, Rapid Profit Booster Summit. I am so excited because today we have Tina Brinkley-Potts with us here, and she is going to be sharing with you one of the most important parts of the sales cycle that a lot of people are missing. And so we're going to dig into that. But let me introduce her and tell you a little bit about her. So Tina Brinkley-Potts is a business strategist, online marketing trainer, and international best-selling author of KaChing, I love that title, How to Add a Digit to Your Income. With over 1 million direct-to-camera video views, it's her desire to help others succeed, and she creates systems that acquire clients, streamline fulfillment, and create repeat buyers so you have enhanced freedom. So today we're going to be talking about the money is in the follow-up. So I'm so excited, Tina.
Thanks for having me, Stacey. Yay! I love playing with you. You know that.
You are one of my most popular podcast interviews. So
Wow.
of course I had to have you on the summit.
Oh, yay!
And, the thing is that, so if people want to listen to the podcast, it's Optimize Your Business and Your Life. So you can catch out Tina on there as well. But I think it's really important because follow-up is something that it's like, people do all of this work to get their marketing done. They do all of this work to do their social media, to do Facebook ads, to do whatever they're doing to bring leads in. Then they might have the sales conversation and then nothing, like, hello, like you dropped the ball. So let's talk about your best strategies to help people get that rapid profit boost, doing a better job with their follow-up.
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to say is Clayton Mask, who's the CEO of Keep, said one of the best things ever when I interviewed him about sales and marketing automation being the great equalizer. And this is what he said: people buy when they're ready to buy, not when you're ready to sell. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to break that statement down, that means that, hey, listen, you've gotten them to that sales call, they're on there, but if there's a reason that they aren't ready to buy and you don't follow up after that, you literally have done all the work for somebody else to come in and steal your sale. And that's the thing that I find that happens with most people. And this is one of the reasons why I spend so much time talking about follow-up. The money is in the follow-up. Now, I want to give you some statistics. First statistic I want to give you, and these are real. Everybody in marketing talks about it takes 7 to 10 touches in order to move someone into the buying process. Okay, we know that. But this is some of the other things that we should know. We should know that most people do not buy, only 3%. 3% buy on the first interaction. Mm-hmm. So if you are not following up, you're leaving 97% of your sales on the table. And that is one of my secret sauce. I mean, that is my secret sauce because I want you to be your authentic self. I want you to always follow up using your own language. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be uber professional. But I want you to just follow up and have a conversation and build that relationship so that some of that 97% will start to happen. What we know when we build a system of just follow up, Stacey, I don't have to change anything else. If someone's already getting sales, I don't have to change anything but their follow up. And within 60 to 90 days, my follow up system will completely beat whatever they've been doing in social media or any of even over the phone.
Wow.
60 to 90 days. That's it.
That's huge. I mean, 60 to 90 days. And another thing is that you automate it.
Yes.
Right. So you're not having to like rely on me to actually do all of the things because that's the problem, right?
Yes, that is the problem. I mean, think of, Stacey, the conversation we had before we started, okay? I was literally telling you that I'm in the middle of 4 grandchildren, got another grandchild about to be born. If it was up to me, like anything that's I'm completely responsible for doing right now is just not happening. Like kids are running my world, right? But my follow-up is happening.
Right.
I still get leads.
That is amazing.
I still am building relationships with people. I'm still fulfilling work for my clients because I use the same follow-up system to get clients, also to help fulfill. The same thing. You just change the focus a little bit.
Right. Oh, yes. That's fantastic. All right. So say you had me in your clutches and you said, all right, Stacey, let me get my hands on your business. Like, what would you have me do in the next, 30 days in order to get that follow-up where it needs to be to increase our business?
So, Stacey, I know that you have a great presence on social media. I know that you interact with your prospects very well. And so I'm going to ask you some simple questions. What are the most frequently asked questions? If I were to get you to think about it, you're going to find that the same questions are being asked of you all the time.
Okay.
And so the next thing I'm going to do is start having you answer those questions in a meaningful way in automation.
Okay.
And I'm also going to have you personalize it. I think that's the biggest reason most people are afraid of automation is they're afraid that it's going to take the personal feeling out of it. And I'm actually going to help you do the exact opposite. I'm going to make sure that you're talking directly to the person who's looking at it. And I'm going to help you. And I'm going to give you a juicy tip right here so that people can start using. For instance, whenever you're sending out an email, that email should be personalized in 3 places, 3 different ways. Now, the easiest way to do that and the most frequent way is by using their name. And so sometimes, having their name in the subject line to increase the open. Of course, you're saying, dear Tina, hey, Tina, whatever. But then if you do it again in the call to action, Tina, click this link. Tina, schedule a phone call with me. Tina, reply to this email. Like just by saying their name, and I wrote an article for Funnels magazine, I think it was a year or 2 back, and it's just literally talking about the art of personalization and how that changes the game. Because people, you've worked for Tony Robbins, and what does he talk about? The human needs. And one of the needs we all have is to be seen and heard. And so if your marketing is taking the time and your automation and your follow-up is taking the time to make someone feel seen and heard, it changes the game.
That's so true, because I think right now, you see things. It's funny because somebody that I connected with sent me a text at like 12:30 at night last night. Now, I turn off my phone.
Yes.
Like, I have it on sleep after 8 o'clock at night. But the thing was, I was like, really? You're going to send me a text at 12:30 at night? And it was like, so I felt like I was in his text bot, that I was just getting things. It wasn't like, hey, Stacey, I saw this video and I thought of you. It was like just a link, and it just felt like, and I sent him an email this morning, a text back this morning, and I said, please take me out of your bot,
Yeah, because that was intrusive.
Yeah, it felt yucky.
Yeah, it felt yucky.
Yeah, and I think that's a part. So let's talk about that, because I think how do you help people get over that yucky feeling when they're following up?
Because we spend a lot of time figuring out how you want to interact, and how, if you were doing it yourself instead of the computer doing it, how would you interact? That's important. Now, a lot of times, Stacey, and I'm going to go against a lot of the gurus out here, right? A lot of the gurus out here will say stuff like, you have to send at this time and all of this stuff so that you're at the top of that inbox or that text or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that automation should be an extension of you, and it should operate in the way of making it feel like you have more hands. So if I had 20 more hands today, how would Tina make those hands work? And that's what I would want to do for you. That's how I would help you get in front of more people, close more leads, get more leads, but actually develop deeper relationships so that they also become raving fans.
Okay, awesome.
Do all of that with automation.
So it feels like you, because you're really taking your personality and just saying, like, I think a lot of times people think of like the big follow-up, as opposed to like, you're following up with this person, you like this person, if you want to work with them, like, how would you interact with that person versus the people, right? So let's talk about, like, so I'm doing follow-up. Where are the areas that you help people? Where are the areas that you're seeing people miss out on doing follow-up, that are like, they're leaving lots of money on the table?
Social media. Everybody's doing lives right now. Let's go live, right? And the problem is most of the time, even when they're going live, in the first comment, they put, here's the sales page, here's the whatever, and the money is still in the list. And so again, only 3% are impulse buyers. And so there were another 97% that could have been looking. And because you didn't bother to collect their information, you're missing the mark in your marketing. So I think that is the first gap. That is the very first gap. Remember, on social media, everybody's doing their best selves. They're putting their best self forward. So a lot of times, if you start modeling what somebody else is doing because they look successful, a lot of times you have big gaps in your income generating capabilities, because everything is not just the show. There's a relationship. There's that moment. And Stacey, you know this better than I do, because again, you work for Tony Robbins. There's this moment where you make this hook, right? There's this hook that happens where that relationship starts to develop. And if you're being very genuine and authentic with it, you have a potential client for life. And that's where that hook begins. Now, after you do that, understanding your rhythm, your flow, and the flow of the way you want to interact with your prospects is very, very important. Trying to email every day, if that's not the flow for you, is the wrong thing. You have to know you, and you have to have something great to say in order to keep that relationship. Like, most of my clients know I need time to myself because I do a lot. So I need time to get recentered, refocused, whatever. But when I come, I'm going to be fully engaged with them. They know that. So they would rather for me to do maybe 2 emails a week, or maybe 1 email and 1 text. or one email and one voice message, the voice message is powerful. Like, because they feel like I'm right there with them. And that helps them keep going. You know what I mean? Like, so my rhythm, I literally have like thrown out a lot of the rules that I've been given and just said, what works for me? What has worked with the clients that I have? And let's just amplify that.
So you're putting voicemails. Is it like a voicemail or tell me a little bit more about that, because that sounds interesting.
So when most people think automation, everybody thinks email, right? That's the one version most people know. There's so many versions. So of course you guys know that there are chat bots and now where you can do chat, you can do text, and text and voicemail I've been doing for 10 years. It's not new.
Wow.
So yeah, and as a matter of fact, text and voicemail are the way that I fill events to capacity.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because there's nothing like hearing a voice inside of these things that connects you on a deeper level than just.
It's so true, because it's just so funny because I've been seeing you on Facebook, right? And, all different places. But today when we both got on here, I was like, I'm so happy to see you, like, and hear you. It was like good to hear your voice. So I do think that's really important. And when you get another level of connection with people, like in terms of like heart to heart connection versus just like a one-dimensional, like, okay, it's an email. And I think also the thing that comes across better, by using different modalities and follow-up is that I always tell my kids, like they're the text generation, right? So they would be reading their reading their phone and they're like, well, this person says that, and like that, what do they mean by that? Or like, how are they saying it, right? Because we all know that you can say like, I love you, right? And it's like, or like, I love you, or I love you, right? And so by putting that other modality in there of like, they're hearing you, motivating them, like encouraging them, like you're saying, you're in their back pocket, encouraging them, like that's way different than just reading a text.
Yes, it is. It is. And, I think the biggest part of that is right now anxieties are running high, right? Like, and there is a better meaning. You can feel my meaning while we're talking.
Right.
And based on the level of where the receiver is where they're going to pick it up. And so a lot of times, just like you were saying, if the receiver is used to hearing people say, I love you, and it not really mean a hill of beans, then if you wrote the words, I love you, that's how that person would receive it.
Right.
But if you come with your bubbly personality and you're telling them, I love you, they can't help but to feel that.
Right.
It's a difference.
Yeah. Oh, I do love you, Tina. You're awesome. So I think, so let's talk. All right. So the first place you said that they're missing the boat is on social media. So instead of just saying like, go to the sales page, they need to connect with somebody to get their email, to get their text, to get them in the inbox somehow.
Yeah.
So that you have control. What are the other places that are missing follow-ups that are costing them money? And right now, I think this is even more important than ever, because whatever leads people have right now because of the economy, they're like, oh, I really want to close these leads.
Yes. The next place I would talk about is the amount of follow-up that you're actually doing. Because of a lot of the rules now in deliverability, there are people who say, if someone hasn't opened your email, then you need to clean your list and all of those kind of things. And I'm going to tell you, yes, be mindful of that. But I'm also going to say again, people buy when they're ready to buy, not when you're ready to sell. So it is very important for you to learn to follow up without an emotional connection on whether they buy or not. Most of the time, Stacey, even if someone is collecting email addresses, they follow up once. Like they might have that one email program. That's it. They don't have a full campaign that could last for 28 days. Like most of the time, even if someone is sending an email newsletter each week, that email isn't really pre-thought out. It's done on the spot. If you know on Thursdays you're going to send a newsletter, you're typing it out on Wednesday night. And because you're doing that, a lot of times we aren't saying all of the things that we would normally say if we just really begin to think of the sales process. So that's the thing that I feel is missing. Two of them right there. So that's two. First one is the amount of follow-up. Making sure that you're following up for the duration, at least a 28-day campaign.
Wow. I mean, and I would ask everybody watching right now, like, how many of you have a 28-day campaign? I bet like there's maybe like 1% of people that have a 28-day campaign. And yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And the second part of this, what we just talked about, is knowing the buying process. Do you know the buying process? Because most people, when I first start working with them and I ask them, okay, so tell me what isn't working, they'll go, none of it's working. My sales have been flat for the last year, this, that, or the other. And so then when I start saying, okay, so how many leads do you have? Oh, well, I have this amount of social media followers. I have this amount. So no, then I want to know, so tell me on a daily basis, how many people are opting into your list? And from there, tell me how many people are opening your email. And then from there, tell me how many people are actually clicking on what you have to say. And when I start asking all of those numbers, most people have no clue. So that is knowing your numbers, but then also understanding the sales process, because when, there's a lot of people who talk about it in their own way. Digital marketer calls it the client journey. There's just many ways of talking about it. But the bottom line is this: when people get to know you, they got to know that you're the solution. They got to know why they want to work with you. And they got to know that they got to see the end as being what they want for them. Now, when we're normally doing our conversations, we're normally doing it because I want to sell to you instead of based off of what the client needs and wants. And so when you learn the buying process, it changes that.
Wow, that's fantastic. So before we wrap up, can you give us a client example? Because I think that always helps people to be able to see like, oh, okay, somebody did this and this is what happened.
Sure. So I can tell you that right now, I am helping a client who has a women's career advancement summit. Okay. And when I went in she has phenomenal speakers, all of these things that are happening, the value of it is huge. But guess what? It was so much information that most people couldn't find themselves in it. And so that example is still happening, but now I'm going to take the exact same example because this happens over and over again, and I'm going to give you some tangible numbers. I started working with 3 women. These 3 women each had their own business, but they came together to do a certification. And this certification was brand new in a new field, and they wanted to get it out to the masses. The problem was, again, they had so much information that people couldn't see themselves in it and why it was important to them. They heard about this industry. They were like, I think I need this, but just couldn't find themselves. I took everything that they put on that sales page and I broke it down in small bite-sized chunks over 28 days. And then I And then I had my secret sauce, Stacey, and I'm going to give everybody my secret sauce. And I don't want you to be afraid of this because this is going to help you tremendously. At the very end, the very last email was simply, "Can I call you?" That was the subject. And the body of it just said, "Hi, first name. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you. I would be happy to answer your questions." And every one of those became a sale. Literally. Now, Stacey, you and I both have a scheduler, right? We have a scheduler that we use.
Yep.
But this email does not go to a scheduler. This email is reply back with your telephone number and give me a 2-hour window of the best time to call you. It takes away the feeling of being sold to. It gives the feeling of, I just want to answer your questions, and they will, and it works. Those ladies sold over $130,000 within a 90-day period after I started working with them. And before then, they were at like 14. But they were powerhouses before me. Like,
No,
So when I give my examples, I want to make sure people know I'm working with powerhouses, and they had the information, but it was Roger Love. You know who Roger Love is, right?
Yeah.
Roger Love told me one day, he said, "You have diarrhea of the mouth." And I was okay with it. We were having a kind of interpersonal conversation. And he says, you got to give one concept and let them grasp that one concept. When you keep throwing stuff at them, then you're smart, yes, but they're not grasping it, and it's not about you.
They're overwhelmed. Yeah.
I think that changed my life, and I put that in everything I do.
Wow. No, mind blown. Like, just like in 20 minutes, like that email there can make people hundreds of thousands of dollars. So like, back up the recording, go listen to it again, write it down, implement it, like, and break down that chunk of like your 28-day process. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Where can people find you?
So the best place to go, especially for sales and marketing automation, is the Whisperer, because my clients call me the automated business whisperer.
Okay.
So whisperer.clientattractionsystems.net.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we will put the link below and all over. Make sure you go follow her on all the social media as well. We'll put the links down there as well. I mean, Tina, thank you so much. And remember, everybody, don't just listen. You have to implement.
Libraries do not make money. You cannot be a repository of information. Right. It is in the practice. Stacey, right. Thank you as usual for bringing me on and including me in whatever you're doing. Thank you.
Of course. We need to spread the brilliance. Thank you so much. And again, don't just learn, implement.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. But just watching these interviews are not going to get you the results that you want. In order to get that boost in profits, you need to take action and implement. So I want you to take a minute now, write down on your calendar what you're going to do, highlight in your notes the great action steps you identified, and put it on the calendar right now. Now, if you need some additional support in growing your business, then reach out to me for a free session at staceyhylen.com. We will help you add a zero to your business without the hustle. In the last 20 years, I have worked with business owners just starting their business at a zero, to people from 6 to 7 figures, people from 7 to 8 figures, even working with clients to go all the way from 6 figures, 8 figures in their business without the hustle. And that's a key component, because who wants to work 1 million hours to make money and then have no life left? So if you would like some help with that, then go to staceyhylen.com and book a free session. No obligation, no pressure. We're going to help you figure out what are the next steps for you.